Right then, let's have a look.
Welcome
here.
everyone, this is Dad Joke Cinema. I think at this point it's fair to say that I've been a part of the Palia community for a long time. I joined the Discord in June of 2021, just a few days after it opened to the public. And I don't talk about it very much, but I've been fortunate enough to be involved in testing the game since the first pre-alpha test. I made my first Palia video over a year ago, and I even met my partner in the Palia community.
Oh, I didn't know that about that joke.
Say that I've been around for a little bit, and I've seen plenty.
The game's not even out yet, and he met somebody in the community.
Recently, with the increased focus and ramp up to beta,
how long was WoW running before the first WoW real life marriage happened?
At walking through my favorite or least favorite, depending on how you look at it, and clear up some of the top misconceptions about Palia. It's perfectly fair for players to feel cautious about free-to-play games. But even after a number of videos and the blog post explaining their business model, I still see comments that suggest that the game will be pay to win.
Yeah, one of the big triggers for that was in the hour-long gameplay preview thing that happened a week and a half ago, whatever it was. When they were talking about the housing, there was a section where they selected to build a new room. They had the top-down thing. Okay, we'll build the new room on this side of the house. And then at the, you walk over to the interaction part of the thing and you go, okay, this room needs this many, stone bricks and this many bits of wood to build. And so you apply those resources, and then a timer came up. Ready in 4 hours. 3 hours, 59 minutes, XX seconds. And because we're so used to seeing that in mobile games, people leapt to the conclusion that would be a pay-to-skip thing. You pay X amount of the premium currency, or whatever it is. In mobile games, it's often some sort of gem, to skip that wait time. That's not the case at all. The Palia devs, I've made a whole video about the monetization schemes, so I already knew that wasn't the case. But a lot of people leapt to that conclusion because we're so used to seeing that in mobile games. The thing most people didn't think about is that happens in Animal Crossing too. Except in Animal Crossing, when you want a new room, it takes an entire friggin' day. Or at least in the most recent Animal Crossing it did. I think it was different in some of the older ones. Yeah, when we were streaming that, it was like, okay, I want a new room. I want my rec room. But, I had to start the room build, and we'd have to come back literally the next physical real-life day. Not an in-game day. The next real day. Until that room would be built. Palia is much, 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 much quicker than that.
Well, the first response is, of course, that in a game with no PvE or PvP, no true competitive gameplay at the start, and a style that is focused on casual play at your own pace, what exactly defines winning in Palia? Some people have said that having premium outfits only available through the cash shop is winning at a life skills game.
I had this argument with someone in the Discord, the official Palia Discord yesterday. He tried to define, pay to win. The win condition is having all the costume you want, which was really weird to me. I don't understand that perspective. And it's not like we were arguing about it. We're just having a discussion. It wasn't heated or anything. But yeah, I couldn't quite understand his perspective on that because, to my mind, there's no win condition in a game like this. It's just you keep progressing in the direction you want to progress. So having the only things you pay for being cosmetics, there is no pay to win, pay to progress, pay to time skip like we're just talking about. There's none of that. So it's a weird argument when people try and claim that having premium cosmetics is somehow unfair or pay to beat the game or something.
But with so much of the game loop focused around your house and decorations, what your characters are wearing is only one part of the customization available. Also, the dev team has said that no game functionality, meaning build times, skill levels, whatever, will be placed behind a paywall or affected by something you can buy. You have to take their word for it now, but it would require a full 180 from the philosophy that they've laid out to go that way. And frankly, I think it would destroy the game and the community.
Yeah, literally a full 180 from what they've been saying.
We've seen or heard that makes it look like pay to win in Palia. Number 2. Recent
servers.
updates about the open beta and the Switch launch have given us a bit of insight into where the servers for the game will be located, but that has also created a bit of confusion. The blog post about the beta launch says that Palia is officially available in North America and the Western European regions, and we plan to release more regions over time. Fans of the
That's funny. Dad and I had the same delivery there.
game outside of North America and Western Europe were afraid that this meant that they wouldn't be able to download the game and play, and that has led to a lot of worry. The devs have done what they can to address this on their Discord, where they've explained that while the servers will be in those 2 locations, you'll be able to play from anywhere.
Yeah, that question has died down a little bit recently, but in the 2 or 3 days immediately after this presentation, when the interest was highest and the largest number of new people were pouring into the official server, that question came up a lot. And I think on the subreddits, there are like 2 unofficial subreddits. I haven't spent any time in them so far because I just don't have the brain space to cope with a Reddit discussion about this game at this point. But there's a lot of misinformation on the subreddits from what I was seeing about the topic titles and things like that. But yeah, when the beta opens, the servers that they're running are US and Europe, and it will probably be US West Coast because the developers are based in California. So that will be the server I'm connecting to, which I've connected to West Coast servers from here in Sydney before with the closed betas of New World. And the ping time I had for that was anywhere from 190 on a really good day up to almost 300 on a rougher day. And that was an action combat game. And I could still function in that game with up to 300 ping. I had to adjust the way I played because I couldn't time dodges anymore. So I had to change my combat style to account for the ping. But when ping was bad, I was just doing other stuff that doesn't rely on ping, like, working on my wood harvesting skills or mining or whatever like that. But in Palia, the only thing that ping is going to affect you on, really, in my estimation, is going to be things like hunting, because that's you're aiming a projectile weapon at an animal, and I don't know whether that is tracking a If you don't forgive gifting out to Subaruni. Pooks, hey Pooks. So yeah, we don't know whether it's hit scan or projectile tracking, and whether that happens on server side or client side, that will affect how ping affects the hunting. But when I mentioned that theory, I had someone else who was in the closed tests, they're under non-disclosure. They said, I can't say much, but yeah, you're probably going to be fine with that, with thousands of ping. So I'm taking that to believe the hunting thing, the way the mechanics work on it, is fairly forgiving or happens on the client side. So yeah, I can't see many activities in this game being affected by high ping, so I wouldn't worry about server locations too much.
These are the official locations because those are the only areas where they'll be able to guarantee a good ping and a nearby server, but you're welcome to get the game and connect from Asia, Africa, South America, or an Antarctic research station.
Yeah, they're not geolocking anything.
Number 3. This is the big one. Around the time that Palia appeared in the Nintendo Direct, a persistent rumor started moving around the Discord and on many YouTube videos, claiming significant concerns about just how massive this MMO really is.
Yeah, it's not a real MMO, 25 per server.
When you played Palia, you would join a server and be one of 25 players on that server.
Not how
That's
it works.
hardly massive, right?
Not how it works.
So is Palia an MMO? Well, according to the game director Aiden, Palia is
a cozy community simulation MMO in which you get to be transported into this amazing, whimsical fantasy world, build the house of your dreams, develop relationships with all our unique cast of characters, and of course, most importantly, you get to do this with all your friends. It's a massively multiplayer game where all your friends can be
massively.
That seems pretty definitive, and they've never wavered from that description of the game being a cozy MMO. But then how do we explain this rumor? Well, the one thing I haven't seen whenever I hear people talk about the 25-player cap is a source. Where did this information come from? Turns out, It's here
from the
on the
eShop.
product information page for the Switch, where you can wish list Palia. Under the specs for the game, it says multiplayer is 1 to 25 players. You can compare this, of course, to something like Temtem, which says 1 to 999 players, and that certainly seems more massive.
Yeah. Temtem, by the way, also server shards.
Super clear answer on how
you will never see 1,000 players in one spot in Temtem.
We do have enough information to piece things together. First, we have a blog from Singularity 6.
This is really. I link this blog to people all the time. So this blog post I link all the time when people are talking about matchmaking. If there's only 25, okay. The thing we're talking about with 25, it's sharding. 25 people visible to you at any one time in the hometown. Other areas of the game are going to have different amounts of players. Some might have 4 or 16 or whatever. But the only thing we know for relative certain at the moment is 25 per shard in the main town, which is perfect because it's a cozy game. It's supposed to be about a small village. You don't want more than that. Otherwise it gets too crowded and you destroy the impression that it's a small village being all cozy and stuff. But when you talk about that, people will go, oh, well, I'm just going to be seeing 25 randoms every time, or 25 of the same people every time. That doesn't feel very, how am I going to meet new people? Blah, 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 blah. I'll link him to this post, which is not on the Palia main site. It's on the Singularity 6 developer site, but it is open to the public page. And it's talking about using machine learning for matchmaking. So it looks at your play style, what you do in the game, how you interact with the game, and matches you up with similar players. It works a bit like a dating app. Is how it's described in this, except dating apps are designed not to give you perfect matches, because if you get a perfect match from a dating app, well, you just date one person, you stop using the dating app. So dating apps are designed to not give you ideal matches, so you keep using the dating app because it's not in their best interest to have people find matches the first try or first couple of tries and then stop using the app. They want more people to keep using the app. Whereas this, it's in their best interest to make the matches as good as possible. So it's going to be really interesting to see how well this algorithm works. This machine learning algorithm works to match people up. It's going to match people. Oh, you're doing a lot of fishing recently? Well, how about we match you up with a lot other people who are doing a lot of fishing, so you can all go fishing together and get that fishing buff that happens when more people are fishing together. So very exciting, very clever. I don't know if any other game has been using a system like this, but it's the first time I've heard about it.
Before Palia was announced, it talks about using optimized machine learning to perform matchmaking, in this case to take a player population that could be in the millions and match you with players in a game session in order to maintain a small town, intimate feel of community.
That's what I'm saying.
Right as the game was announced, a Singularity 6 dev was asked if there would be one world or different servers all around the world, and they said that you won't choose a server and you'll be allowed to go wherever your friends are, citing only network performance as a limiting factor.
So yeah, it will be what you call a mega server. So you won't pick individual servers or worlds or whatever some games call them, like you do on New World or World of Warcraft or stuff. It will just be an invisible mega server, basically. It's unclear whether it automatically matches you to a regional server or not, depending on your ping. Does it automatically connect you to US or European servers? We don't know that for sure yet. That's been kind of fuzzy. I've been trying to find that out, but NDAs make it difficult. But you will be able to, of course, use friends lists, use community stuff, and communities are a bit like guilds. Like what would be guilds in other MMOs are called communities in this, so you'll be able to join up with your friends that way. Plus you got the machine learning thing. And I did see yesterday, or day before, one of the devs was in the official Discord, and they were talking about something I'm not sure whether they were allowed to talk about officially, because this person has made a couple of mistakes like that before, which is why I never stopped them doing it. But it seems like you could freely hop between regional servers. That was the impression I got from a comment they made. So
then on the absolutely massive, FAQ section of the support site for Palia, it says that you can become friends with people who aren't in your area, join a party together, and then you will be placed together, or you can manually force yourself into the same area.
So when they talk about areas, I'm not sure whether they're talking about separate regional servers or not, but that would be really good if it worked like that.
And finally, during the live stream, someone asked about the 25 player number, and the Palia account replied that 25 people will be able to play together, and the kill.
So that's the official source, or as close as we get for an official source with that 25 number. That's in Killamar, which is the main town, the hub town. That's what I was talking about before. That's the number of players in a shard, to use WoW terminology, in that. And they're talking about they'll have different zones for different types of activities, for harvesting, for adventure, for mining, for, I don't know, mini games, whatever. Those will have different numbers of people per shard. So it's going to work like PSO2 Online is the game that I'm most familiar with that works like that. Some areas have 32 players, some many more, some only have 16 or even 8. So it's going to be similar to that.
From a village area, but it varies per zone, and other zones will be added to the game in the future. All of this points to instancing. You join the game and you get placed into an instance of...
That's the word I should be using instead of sharding, instancing. My brain forgot that word for a moment.
Killamar Village or some starting zone with other players using the matchmaking methods developed using machine learning. It will likely try to place you with friends, members of your community, or party members. For the village we've seen so much of in the game, which represents a small town in this world, you will have a maximum of 24 other players running around with you.
That's 25 total, you plus 24.
But if it's instanced, that means there will be different players in different play sessions, and all of the answers about friends mean that you'll be able to switch easily to an instance where your friends are at. Other massively multiplayer games such as Guild Wars 2 and DC Universe use an instance that you'll be able to switch easily to an instance where your friends are at. Other massively multiplayer games.
All right, let's look at this list. So Guild Wars 2 uses a mega server. Server doesn't matter except for R versus R. RVR? What's RVR? Realm versus Realm? I don't know. I don't play Guild Wars. Final Fantasy, locked traditional server system. Yeah. RuneScape old school, can pick any server at any time. Lord of the Rings Online, locked traditional server system. World of Warcraft, locked traditional server system. That's, each server has its own world, but it also has sharding. Eve has a mega server, one giant server. Elder Scrolls Online has a mega server, giant server with dynamic shards and layers. And New World has locked traditional server system, plus it has sharding.
Such as Guild Wars 2 and DC Universe use an instance system as well. And even World of Warcraft uses instances for some places. While you may never see 500 people in the middle of the town having a dance-off, which would be amazing, but not
Ultima
at all
Online was
fitting
the
with
first
the
to do
lore
sharding,
of a
wasn't it?
village of
Yeah.
that size, you will see a variety of different players no matter where you go, and you'll be able to...
Sorry, Zara. Scratch my last switches. This is making me think of similar setup to an MC server I was managing that was literally like 6 different servers for different games, modes, types, all connected to the hub level. No, it doesn't quite work like a Minecraft server where you've got a hub and you split off into little server instances, but it's, thinking about it that way is close enough to how this works. But it's not going to be quite that separated.
Group up with old friends or make new ones as you explore that world. Number 4. Okay, this one has been around for a while, and although it's much more rare than the others, it seems persistent, and I think it's important to settle it once and for all.
I don't know what this one is going to be.
I've seen multiple videos and comments over time suggesting that you can romance underage characters and Palia.
What? No, I've not seen this come up anywhere. What's this?
And Kenyatta seems to be the focus of that. Unfortunately, the narrative lead for Palia did describe the mayor's daughter as
kind of a rebellious teenager.
Right.
And
Yeah, okay. I can guess where this is going now. I've looked at the character profiles and stuff like that, and I know Kenyatta here is described as a young adult, but in the live stream, as we're about to hear, I suppose, she was described as a rebellious teenager. And I was like, well, no, she was described as young adult. I know that for already. Why is she being called a teenager by a dev? That seems weird. But I think the dev was describing her attitude, her spirit. She has the vibe of a rebellious teenager. So yeah, poor word choice. So I'm guessing someone ran with that and went to Reddit or something. So, you can romance teenagers.
I think that may have been part of the problem. This may be a description of her attitude more than anything else, or she might be 19.
That joke.
But the
You and I, man.
information for the character has always described her as a young adult, as in an adult who is younger, not like the genre of literature that's mostly targeted at teens. And while she is working with her mother...
That's just a smoke show, though. Look at that, though. Absolute smoke show.
They've given some indication that she hasn't chosen her path yet or life calling. It's a bit like she's in a gap year before college. Either way, she's not a minor
Gap year.
or a
All right.
minor like Hodari, and that's that.
There is a minor that I've seen some people talk about how they, you know, who's the best girl, whatever, who's the waifu, blah, 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 blah. And there is a character in the game that is a young boy, like a teenage boy, a preteen boy or tween or something. And I saw someone point out them and say, "Oh, they're cute," and someone else on the server went, "They're a child." And to be fair, you look at the key art for them; they do look like a young woman rather than a young boy. It's got a fairly feminine vibe going on, and I thought they were a girl at first as well. So, shrug.
She still follows the trend, however.
But as far as I know, that character is not romanceable, and I'd bet on it actually because again, they are a child and Singularity 6 are not going to be that dumb.
Earlier this year, Singularity 6 released some information about NPCs and relationships you could have in the game, and a popular YouTuber mistook one word from an interview about it for meaning something completely different.
I don't recognize who that video. Anybody recognize that YouTuber? He, That Joke Cinema here hasn't named that YouTuber. That's not MMOByte, is it? I don't know. I haven't watched these videos in a while.
About this misconception. Normally that wouldn't mean much, but as of the time of me saying this, that video has been seen 24.
Oh no, definitely not MMOByte. He gets way more views than that. MMORPG in 2013 are getting really weird. Someone Google that video title for me and give me the name of that YouTuber.
4,000 times. So I think it warrants a response. This guy saw that you can befriend NPCs in the world of Palia, but also that you can woo them. Wooing a person comes from the Middle and Old English words which mean to court someone with the intent to marry them.
Okay, so to preempt where this is going, my guess is going to be this guy saw the word woo, which is not a word they use in the game. That must have been a word he saw someone else writing about in an article. Because in the game, I'm pretty sure it's just called romance. But woo is a type of romancing. It's a formal set of romancing, which is what he's explaining at the moment, so I'm not going to go over it again. But I'm betting whoever this other YouTuber is saw that word and thought it meant something else. Like he's heard the word used, and in context, he thinks it means to do something more intimate than flirt.
It's popularly been used as a term over the centuries to describe...
No! That is MMOByte? I've watched his videos before, but I guess I haven't seen him from that angle before. Huh. I had a bit of a falling out with that guy in the not too distant past to do with Blue Protocol. Bitch got on my tits a bit.
The more formal act of flirting, basically, and extends from a time where you would write letters and kiss
fairly
hands
low
and
number
do
of
all
views
that
for him then.
courtship ritual. Unfortunately, our YouTuber friend thought it was the
Is it like on a secondary channel or something?
term woohoo from The Sims.
Oh, there it is. The idiot. The absolute moron. He confused wooing with woohoo, which is as we're about to have explained to us, I suppose, is the term they use in The Sims for physically intimate actions. When you dive underneath the covers and the animation just goes... Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Which is their
What a
family-friendly
moron!
term for an intimate physical relationship. Because of misreading this one word, they thought that Singularity 6 was adding some...
There is no way to disparage someone for getting a word wrong. I am. I'll disparage him. If you're going to latch onto a word and make a big deal out of it, it is your responsibility to know what that word means. Don't just run off with an assumption. If you're going to make a video about how you think that physically intimate relationships are going to happen in a family-friendly style game, it is your responsibility to make sure you're getting it right. So Dad Joke Cinema and I disagree on this one. If that was MMOByte's, whatever his name is, no. I totally disparage him for making that dumb mistake.
Kind of simulation, cutscene, or gameplay of those intimate acts into their cozy lifestyle game. And let's be perfectly clear, woohoo in The Sims has never been referred to as wooing, and a Google search reveals no instances of people using the term interchangeably or getting them confused.
And that's what you call doing your research. He checked. He went looking to see if that was an easy mistake to make. Well done.
I was surprised to find them bring it up again in a recent video, so I guess they
He's
still
done it
think it'll be
again!
in there.
So he made the mistake. I'm sure people corrected him, and he's gone ahead and made the mistake again. Or perhaps done it deliberately because of hate clicks.
And honestly, I feel kind of bad that they'll be so sorely disappointed when they discover that relationships in Palia only advance through dialogue and gift giving and nothing further. And so that's it, my top
Nothing further so far.
5 misconceptions about Palia. Is there something you've heard that you're not sure if it's true or not? Leave it in the comments below and I will try to respond if I can. And as always, have a great day.
All right, I definitely advise doing that. That was a well put together video. 5.3 thousand views one day ago. Nice. Dad Joke Cinema, yeah, he and I have got along just fine in the Discord so far, and as evidenced by this video, I think we're very much on the same wavelength. So yeah, that's interesting. There was a couple of things I didn't know were controversies happening there. MMOByte is mad because he has to work for a romance in game? Probably. Like, I've watched his videos in the past, and he does get... He touches on the edge of sleazy when it comes to particularly Asian MMOs, which often have voluptuous female characters in fairly skimpy dresses. He dances on the edge of creepy sometimes with that sort of stuff. I do believe he's married, and his missus is on camera with him and on streams with him at some time, so I imagine she holds him back somewhat. Or perhaps she's a bit of a degenerate as well, I don't know. But yeah, his attitude, making that leap towards physical intimacy in a family-friendly game and trying to make it a thing based off the word woo in a third-party article. That's a big old derp. Mm-hmm.